Black Monday with Mob.
Hello YouTube. For those who are new, welcome to Black Monday with Mob. I appreciate it. You found me on YouTube. My name is Mob Nakagawa. I'm doing YouTube for 3 years in Japan. My channel program is designed and targeted for those who are interested in Japan, and it's related news that I selected from my preference and liking. I'm kind of based man. Here, based is an internet slang used to describe with a sense of humor or to express amusement to someone who is not afraid to express their unpopular opinion over the controversial topics. I tell you, moment about the Japanese breaking news as to what's going on in terms of economy, people, business, education, money, and all variety of topics about Japan I love. If you had a new finding from my video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel as well as notification so that you can stay up to date with the information as you need more. I hope it works for you. Also, please don't hesitate messaging me anytime you want in the comment section below. I really enjoy having a conversation with you. I always welcome you. Great! Today, I wanna be reviewing tax evasion. As we are aware, tax evasion is an illegal means to avoid paying taxes. We gotta know it's bad. The biggest news by far is animation studio behind Demon Slayer indicted for tax evasion. Typically, tax evasion schemes involve like individual or corporation misrepresenting and misreporting their income and earnings to the tax office, right? The president of ufotable Inc., where is responsible to manage the popular Demon Slayer series, recently was indicted for tax evasions. He has been evading over 137 million Japanese yen in both corporate and consumption tax since 2015. 137 million is a big money, folks. I was wondering how possible it is to hide the large amount of money and its interest altogether. He had engaged in underreporting income, inflating a deduction, and hiding money over 6 years. So, for a long period of time, he attempted a tax evasion scheme. That could result in criminal charges, of course. In Japan, tax evasion might give rise to substantial monetary penalties, imprisonment, or both. Any person who attempts in any manner to evade or defeat any tax imposed by the International Revenue Code, according to the Japanese tax law, shall be fined or imprisoned, as I talked. Today, I found this resource from Yahoo News, but this is one of thousands of cases with tax evasions. A lot of people, especially business owners, tend to attempt tax evasions, underreporting income, hiding interest, and money laundering, which can lead to a felony. But nevertheless, people are doing shit. You know what? Demon Slayer called Kimetsu no Yaiba in Japanese is super famous Japanese animation which gained both popularity and reputation all over the world. Although I don't watch it. I kind of understand why the president was accused of tax evasion and he had to hide money. In a court of Tokyo, he mentioned he wanted to pool as much money as possible for the future of the company in case of the emergency. Many people criticized him for his irresponsibility and pocketing money for a long time, but I wasn't so shocked at all. You know what? He might have been skewed. He actually knew he was doing bad things. He admitted that, but he couldn't stop tax evasion. Here's what happens. Before we go over, just one note about the current circumstance of the Japanese animation industry. I want to look at right now is that anime production studio is quite terrible. Very unstable work environment. Illustrators or creators working so hard at the studio are not really covered with such attractive employee benefits as welfare. Their wage is incredibly low. I quoted these resources from a Japanese YouTuber and commentator who mainly talks about otaku topics. His name is Okada-san. I'm pretty much sure his channel content is reliable, so I tell you this. He mentions he is worried about the poor working conditions on anime industry. ufotable Inc. is one of the biggest names when it comes to production. Demon Slayer is produced by this company, which looks extremely successful. They have wowed so many fans in the last few years with Demon Slayers until tax evasion was revealed. You might believe they have earned a huge amount of income, and I think it's true. Actually, they keep creating many animation every day, but anyhow, inversely, their working conditions are not improved. Why? I searched deeply to find the root cause as to what's going on with the worst animation studio out there. Most people think Japanese Anime Association and Committee sucks. Their management is retarded. That's what they think. Even though the critics despise like that, I don't really understand what is the matter. To be more marketable and profitable for Japanese anime industry, I don't know specifically what they do. Okada-san says Anime Association and Committee is an investor. For example, when you wanted to try out something new, you'd need money. I mean a budget or capital fund enough to meet your satisfaction or your goal settings, but you don't have the money to do your business. Without any budget, you can do nothing. Anime association and committee is like someone who invests in your business, mainly selling for anime and otaku contents. TV station, advertising agency, and other production companies are also considered as an investor. Which said that you have to create your work in a financial aid as well as their investment. Each one of investors wants to claim their demand, job offering, achievement, and more like what they expect you to do. It might be a little bit tricky or complicated for you to understand my explanation. Please leave me a comment if you have any further question on that, or if you don't understand, okay? I always welcome you. Well, let's say, suppose you want to create an animation and you want the budget at 2 million US dollar, but you don't have the money. If you have only 3% of the whole budget out of 2 million, you only have 3% of the right you can claim. In other words, if you invest in 3% of the expected budget, which is namely 60k US dollar, you don't have 97% of the claim rights. Are you with me? Yes? Okay, that's great. The investors do not like that. When Studio Ghibli wants 5 million Japanese yen for just one movie, hundreds of companies invest in it. They willingly invest in Ghibli Enterprise because a huge bunch of income is expected to investors. However, most of production companies are not as big as Studio Ghibli, so they ask individual stakeholders for additional financial support. That's critical point, folks. If an individual stakeholders invest additional money for at 5 or more than 10% of the budget you want, you are happy. Okada-san says 40% would be expected. That seems to be an honest estimated ratio in the market. You are an animation creator and I'm your investor. You ask me for 2 million, I give you 1 million as an investment. Then you are happy and I'm happy too because the ratio is 50%, right? But if your animation is designed with a super high quality, other investors raise their hand and also invest in. Once negotiation starts for who can be the biggest stakeholder, another one comes out and eventually they start to fight. Investor wants to have a privilege to control your anime production, but I guess probably the president of ufotable Inc. disliked it a lot. You know what? Sometimes I see Yakuza community join the negotiation. That's too much trouble if they get into. That might have been a part of the reason why he had to attempt tax evasion. I talked more about the Yakuza Mafia Syndicate in my previous video. Please check it out if you haven't watched it yet. I think it's worth. So, in order to make a good animation in Japan, director or producer is a key. Let me clear once again. The producer of Demon Slayer didn't want to let anyone invest in his anime production to protect the quality of the content. because Demon Slayer might be at the risk of being controlled by the third party if he handles with other investors. If he produces his animation in America, he might be okay, but in Japan, Anime Association and committee extremely hates their inner financial trouble with other people. The president of Demon Slayer's company wanted to take care of himself. He knew he had to do. It doesn't mean he did good things at all, okay? Tax evasion is always bad. Bad is bad. I just want to say, when I look behind this case, I had no choice but to think about the background of tax evasion. Like, he knows tax evasion is a crime, but why he doesn't stop it? It makes me think it's not just merely a matter of money, you know. Overall, Japanese animation is still entertaining and profitable market. A lot of overseas production companies also want to invest in, but Anime Association and committee doesn't allow them to get into the market because they are afraid of losing their market share. They don't want to lose their face. That's typical Asian tradition though. So much stuff is going on, man. Okay, I think the time is up. I hope you guys understand my point. If you enjoyed, again, press the like button and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell button if you don't mind, of course, so you can quickly stay up to date with breaking news, fresh information and entertainment that matters the most to you. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next episode of Black Monday with you. I'm your host, Mab Nakagawa.